All right, so here we are. I'm not an expert, you guys. I don't professionally teach SATs. I don't, so these are just my kind of ideas, general ideas of, this is based on like my experience of taking the SATs and of taking tests. So take it for what it is. I'm sure there's other books and sources that have a much more detail on this. But I would say, in a general way, if you're preparing for the SAT, there's 3 sections. What are they? Critical reading, math, and writing. Okay, so it's 800 points, 800, and 800. Not points, but that's a score. 800, 800, 800. So the total is 2,400, right? So I'm just going to talk briefly about today. We're just going to talk briefly about what is just some general tips for how to do each section, and then or prepare for each section, and then I want to focus today on critical reading, since last time you guys did a little practice on math, and I think a lot of you guys like math seems easier for you. I think. Raise your hand if you think math feels easier. Raise your hand if you think critical reading is easier. Okay. Writing, who thinks writing is the easiest? Okay, all right. Okay, so last time somehow everybody wanted to jump into math, so we're going to do critical reading today. I'm going to try to like switch it up every time. I don't know. I either want to switch it up every week or just focus on one for a few weeks and then transition. Yeah, you like that? Okay. You really? Oh, well, at least for the beginning, we'll do a little bit of each to do a little buffet sampler style. Okay. So on math, I would say, and there's different people that have there's different schools of thought. I think if you go to an SAT prep instructor, they will say it's not about knowing the math. It's just about knowing the tricks and how to game the system and knowing how to like find the, like you could not know nothing about it, but you could still figure out the answer by using these tricks, which is true. I mean, I don't know if it's true, but I never did it that way. I'm not saying that that's not one way to do it, but I also think, especially if you're in 9th or 10th grade, like, why don't you just learn the math? Then you can know how to do the math, and that will help you in your other classes, and you'll know how to do the SATs, And you have to be smart about it. Certain times it's better just to guess and check, but in general, it's good also to know the math. And I don't know, I did it that way, and it worked for me. So 1, know your math. There's only a limited number of types of math problems. They're not going to, like, sine, cosine, tangent, that's never going to be on there. Okay, not on the SAT ones. But it's a very limited number of, and so the more practice tests I give you and the more practice you try, you're like, oh, I've seen this problem before. Oh, you'll notice, oh, they always ask these kinds of problems and those kind of problems. And so if you really practice it and study it, then it's gonna look easy to you. I know the first few weeks it's gonna look very difficult to you, but the more exposure you get and experience you get, you're gonna be like, oh, I totally got this. We did this so many times before. Okay, so know your math. There's a limited number of types of math problems, so just study how to do those types of problems. So I would kind of think of it as, okay, you have to know a little bit about how to do numbers and operations. You need to know about algebra and how to do your algebra problems. You need to know enough geometry, and we'll talk about what levels of geometry. They're not going to ask you to do a proof, but they're going to ask a lot of questions about the angles of a triangle or parallel lines or circles. So, we have to study those, and then there's a little bit of statistics and probability. So once you get familiar and study the formulas and things you need to know for those 4 things, then it's practice, practice, practice. And under that, we could learn some test-taking tips on how to practice, okay? Or like when you're doing problems, how to do it, okay? So that's math. So in a sense, for math, if you had to summarize it, know math and practice. Yeah? Okay, critical reading. If you guys look at, there's 2 types of critical reading questions. Sorry about that. Critical reading. If you look, let's turn to section 2. Is it 2 or 3 in your practice SAT? Okay, does everybody have one at least that they could share with their partner who like, because I know some of you guys got it last week, but you didn't bring it with you. If you don't have one at your table, move to a table with somebody who you can share, with whom you can share.
Ooh.
With whom you can share. So section 2. So a typical and 4. Oh, section
2 is math.
4. Sorry, 4. Why did they skip section 3? It's the experimental section. So there's 10 sections when you take the SATs, And every time you take it, 1 of the 10, they don't tell you which one though. Because if they told you which one, you'd be like, oh, this one doesn't count. I'm just gonna not care about this one. You're gonna skip it, right? So they won't tell you which one is the experimental section. This year it was section 3, but maybe next year it's gonna be section 6, or another one's gonna be section 9. So you never know which one it's gonna be. So don't take every section seriously. But now that after the fact we realize, oh, they took out section 3 because that was the experimental one. Okay.
What do you mean by
yes. Not necessarily. You're not going to be able to tell that it's the experimental section, but you're going to but they're basically trying out different problems, and they're using statistics. They want to see like how statistically sound or how good of a problem that problem is. Every test that you take has that, you guys. Like when you take the CSTs, you know, they gave you like 70 questions, but actually when you get your final score, they only scored like 60 of them or something, because 10 of them in there somewhere mixed in there were ones that they actually ended up not counting because it was only experimental. And they only like give a test on a high stakes test. They only count a question if they've already like field tested it 1 or 2 times to make sure it's like a statistically. Because what if it turns out that like, oh, all the Latino kids got this question wrong? That tells them that their question was kind of biased, and so they would take that one out, you know. Or like, oh, all the girls got this right, but all the boys got it wrong. That tells them that there's bias on that question, you know. That's why they ask you at the end, like optional, like put like whether what your gender is or like your religion and like race and all that stuff. It's for statistical purposes. There can still be ways, you know, that it's biased. I don't know, even maybe a psychologist would know that. I don't even know. So last time, I told you guys to read the instructions. So once we do this several times, if you're so sure what this is going to say on the test, you don't have to waste valuable time reading this, right? And this section, because it's going to be the same every time whenever it's a critical reading section, right? By the way, yeah, let's just remind me later to show you guys Khan Academy. It's just another resource you guys can use. Remind me, okay? All right, so look at this. On a critical reading section, this one, not all of them are the same, but this one is 25 minutes, 24 questions. That tells you about how much time do you have per question.
1 minute.
1 minute per question, okay? So that means you can't waste time. You know how, like, you know, in class sometimes you're like, you know what, let me take a break and put my head down for 5 minutes. Do not do that on the SAT, okay? You need every second. You're like, let me just stare at the room and chase the fly visually. No, no, no. Do that after. Okay, do not do that during the test. Every second counts. So, just look at it. There's 25 questions. In this section, what does it look like?
Vocab. Fill in the blank.
Fill in the blank. Sentence completion, and they're testing your knowledge of vocab and like sentence comprehension. Yeah, at the sentence level. What about this? Reading comprehension. This is reading comprehension, and can you analyze literature? And they do a little bit of like vocabulary and connotation here. So this is like 2 small reading sections, right?
Oh, yeah,
and they ask you to compare them. Yep. And then they give you 2 longer passages. It's not always like this. Sometimes they give you 1 super long one, and that takes you to the end. Okay, so this one has about 3 parts, huh? Okay. So most critical reading sections are like this, where there's a little bit of sentence completion and a little bit of reading comp. So what's going to help you on critical reading? Well, first thing is you need to know your vocabulary. If you don't even know what these words mean, you're going to have a very, very hard time. So it's very important. And these are pretty difficult words. And you guys, to be honest, it's like this. Some of the, and you know, the SAT is culturally biased if you think about it. There are kids in America who like grow up hearing these SAT words at their dinner table every night because their mom and dad is a professor or whatever, you know. And so these are normal words that they hear. And since 5th grade or 3rd grade, it's like, oh yeah, like onomatopoeia, we know what that means or whatever, you know. Like, oh, what a disparaging comment you made, Dad. Like they're using these words as little kids. You know, and then you know, some of us, we don't grow up hearing those words at home, you know, so we have to be consciously studying them. And so that list that I gave you guys, and you have to study them in context. It's really hard if you study a word just out of context, and then sometimes we get where kids try to use it, but it's like totally in the wrong context and it sounds kind of weird. So just, I mean, that's okay, but just be careful. So these I got from Dove. It's 175 words or 78 words that are, he says these are his most, he called them the usual suspects. These are the ones that come out the most frequently on the SAT. So what you need to do, you guys, is you need to make flashcards and write down the definition, write down the part of speech. What does that mean? It's a noun or adverb or adjective or verb, okay? Preposition. Okay, so write that down. And what I would do if I were you is I would write a sample sentence. Because sometimes a definition in itself doesn't really give you a good idea of what the word means until you see it used in a sentence. And then I would study them. What I would like for us to do is study them together as a class, as a class have a schedule. So this is what I want to ask you guys. So look, there's 170 some words here, okay? So I made a Google Doc. Google Docs are very important for modern adult life and child life. Okay, so I put all the words down here. And I put it into a spreadsheet because it counted it for me. There's 176 words. And then I did this. So out of the 176, I created a formula. I said, if we learn 5 words each week, so I take this number and I divide it by 5, that would mean that it would take us 35.2 weeks to finish this list. That's about 1 whole school year. We're in the 7th week of school and you have about 40 weeks of school. So we could do that. 5 seems very easy, 5 words a week, and we could do all of them by the end of the year. If we want to be advanced, we could do 10 words a week, and we would finish in 17 weeks. 17 weeks is how long first semester is, but we're already in the 7th week, so we would finish by January or February. Okay? So I want a show of hands. Thank you. How many of you guys want to do? Sure. No, I'll take it. Oh, in between? What? No, right now I'm on video and stuff. We're not gonna stop to study on your test.
6.5.
You want to do 6.5 words a week?
8 or 7.
Okay. A ver. No, right now I'm teaching a class. Sorry. Okay. Okay, let's do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Oh, better yet, let me show you guys. These are just life skills. 10, 9, 8. You can drag and clip. Drag. Okay. So, if I do that, divided by that. Okay, so. Then you have to label your axes. Alright. And I want that to show, so I wrap it. Okay. Can you guys see this? Okay. So, what? I have to drag the formula. Ah! Oh, I know why.
Did he pass? No, Jesse did. But it's funny
Okay.
because he copied my answer.
So if we learn 1 word a week, it'll take us 176 weeks. If we learn 5 words a week, it'll take us 35 weeks. If we learn 7 words a week, it'll take us 25 weeks.
Attention all students who have signed up and paid for the fan bus. I will be serving you pizza and sodas right outside Ms. Bonilla's office in about 3 minutes. So once again, if you have signed up and paid for the fan bus, I will be serving you pizza and sodas outside Ms. Bonilla's office in about 3 minutes. Thank you.
Alright. How many of you guys ordered pizza? Just 2. Okay. 3. Okay. You guys could just go whenever you want. Okay, so what do you guys want to do? What should we do?
7.
7.
8, because it's pretty even.
8.
And then we'll finish in 22 weeks?
Wait,
So-
when is that? 22
So, 22 weeks from now.
Let's do 177.
Is that before March?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, so we are in. Okay,
Oh,
so.
you're very organized.
Alright, so, what week are we? What week are we in right now? Oh, here. So this is 7. Okay, so how many weeks did I say?
22.
22. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I lost my count.
You know the semester ends at 17 weeks and we're already 7 in.
Oh, okay. No, but then that's not including the breaks. Okay, so wait, there's 4 weeks in a month, and 22 is 5 months and 2 days. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, We'll be finished. Oh, first week of March.
Well, that's
Yeah, but you're
perfect.
gonna do it during the break.
perfect.
You should do extra during the break, right?
Yeah.
So we can finish before March. You guys like that?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay. All right. Why not?
Are you not taking into consideration this
But it's 7 words a week.
Relax.
But tell us when we're going to break.
Wait, you guys 7 words a week?
we-
That's perfect. 1 word a day.
And we have we have
She
kids.
was giving us more work than she was
What? Who has kids?
No, for Bulgarian.
At least we still got her on.
Kids?
They're flashcards.
Oh.
They're like 22.
You have kids?
We'll just
I'm
we'll
like,
finish
what?
in 22 weeks, man. That's fine. No faster, no slower.
Okay. All right. Jennifer has said it. It is done. You don't have to do it. I mean, I'm not gonna like kick you out of the class or something.
It'll only benefit yourself. or
That's
hurt
right.
You.
That's right.
And then it's not- it'll teach you.
Okay. All right. So I think we should start backwards because people always start with A, and so then you know so many words that start with A, and you don't know any words at the end of the alphabet, right? So let's start here, okay? And I will send you guys a Google Doc. Wiley. Okay, you know what? Let's practice pronouncing them because I don't want you guys to learn the words wrong and sound all funny. Okay.
right there.
Okay,
I
everyone.
saw hypocrite and I was like, what's Hippocrates?
Okay, everyone say Wiley.
Wiley.
Whimsical. Wary. Vocation. Not to be confused with vacation. Have you guys heard of vocational school?
Never.
A vocation is a job, an occupation. Okay, your vocation. So virtuoso, not to be confused with your physics teacher. I actually thought his name was Mr. Virtuoso at first. What do you think virtuoso might mean?
Virtuous.
Maybe virtuous or okay, virtuoso. Okay, vilify. Do you think that sounds like a good word or a bad word?
Bad.
Yeah. What does it sound like? Villain. Okay, so let's put
I thought like
pink as bad. Okay, vilify. Virtuoso. Does that sound good or bad? Good. What about vocational?
Good.
Kind of neutral. Okay, but not so bad. What about wary?
Bad.
Bad. Why? What do you think it means?
Tired.
No, that's weary.
Where is
When you're wary of something.
Oh, you know.
Suspicious. Yeah. Uh-huh. Or you have reservations. What about whimsical?
clumsy.
It's good or bad?
Bad.
Whimsical? It's pretty good. It's like whimsical has to do with like
It
fanciful
sounds like a wimp,
or
like someone that sucks.
you guys could look it up. What about wily?
This is
Wiley. Good.
Have you guys heard of Wile E. Coyote?
someone annoying.
Yeah, something like that.
Wild?
Never mind.
Okay, what about this word? Venerated.
It sounds bad.
Venerated. Everybody say venerated. Venerated.
Common to go.
No, veneration. What is venerated? Venerated staff. Venerated. Venerated means like respected, highly respected, prestigious, okay? All right. Is that 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is. Okay, so by next week, you guys study all of these, make flashcards or something. You guys can test each other. You guys could do like little I don't know, competitions where you're like, oh, among your friends, like count every time you can use it properly in a sentence and you get points on each other. And then whoever wins in your small group of friends has to buy somebody else chocolate or carry their backpack or I don't know. Yeah, we used to, when I was in middle school, we did that. I don't know, it was the stupidest thing actually. Because the people got into fights over it, but they're like, oh, they're like, oh, let's take turns being each other's slave. And then that was really bad. And they're like, you have to carry my backpack, but then it's like weird because then you're friends. And I get that guys wouldn't have any problem with it, but girls were like, you feel weird to like, you know. Anyway. Anyway, okay, so those are your words. Okay, I cannot stress, and those are a bad choice of colors because pink is a pretty good color to me too, you know. So.
I hate colors.
But it's like red, you know, red alert, you know.
Miss, can I grab a fork for my son?
Yeah. So okay, you guys. Do you guys think? Okay, so I can't stress enough the importance of knowing vocabulary words, and that's something you're just gonna have to do on your own, and you have to be disciplined about it. When I was in high school, I got this book called 1100 Words You Need to Know. I told Mr. Engel about it. I think he said he was gonna get it, but it had like 5 words a day that you had to learn, and every week you would learn 25 words. and like
Oh,
and
maybe
yours
he
like
does
you would
have
give
that book
you would
already.
give yourself a test and stuff. There would be like paragraphs and like, but I made myself do that over the summer and I learned a lot of words that day.
Did you memorize all of it? That's the first
No, I
thing-
didn't do all
That's
1100.
the first thing it says in a lot of books. Don't try to memorize a lot of words because, well, you can memorize the roots, but don't try to like drown yourself with words because in the end you're not gonna know all of them.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like it's better to try that than to not have done it. At least something will stick. It's not gonna mess you up. You know what I mean? And then, but what is important though is that you use it, like you see them in context. But when you guys learn these words, you will start to notice these words are actually used a lot in the world. You'll start to notice them when you're reading articles online or when your teachers are
CNN.
talking or on CNN, and you'll start
Flipboard.
to, yeah. So here's the other thing, because you're right, it has to become something meaningful that you connect to life, and so you need to read. Not only will that help you make the SAT words, the vocabulary words stick, but that's going to help you with your reading comprehension. So read stuff. Don't just read like comic books and manga and stuff, but read the news. Whether it's on newspaper or on the internet, read textbooks, magazines, journals. I have Time magazines, National Geographics, novels. Oh my gosh, British literature. Like I used to read Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen novels, the Bronte sisters, and all of them. They use really hard words, but I learned a lot from them, and they were really interesting. Okay, so as you read those, look for SAT words and how it's used in context. Like, oh, that's how you use that word. I thought you could just say like, but then you realize how it's used. Ask questions as you're reading. Don't just read, but be an active reader. Those of you guys from my class, you know what I mean. Ask questions as you're reading to make sure, wait, what's the main point of this? Wait, what are they trying to say? What are the 3 main points in this paragraph? Like, ask questions and summarize. And then practice. So there's tips that we can learn about how to do the reading comprehension section. Okay? The writing I have the least familiarity with because there was no writing section on the SATs when I took it. Although we had to take like one of the SAT 2s was like writing, I think it was actually the SAT 2. It was a subject test. It wasn't on the regular SATs. So I guess I did take it still, but I didn't, anyway, I haven't looked at it in a while, but I was looking at it recently. You do need to know some basic grammar rules.
Yeah.
And you need to practice writing the essays, but it's a lot about just practicing, okay? So I would say know math, know your vocabulary, and know some tips. And read. And practice a lot. Those are my words of wisdom for you. Okay? So, are there questions so far? By the way, let's take a little minute to look at Khan Academy. How many of you guys have raised your hand if you've used Khan Academy before? All right. Okay, good. So wait, raise your hand if you've never gone to the Khan Academy website before in your life. Oh, watch out. Okay, so look, Khan Academy.
It looks all weird now.
I know it's changed. It's changed. I miss the old way, but that's how we always feel about when things change. How come it's not?
Reading counts.
Oh,
Reading
man, I
counts.
miss
You missed reading counts, really?
Miss Matilda like twice, like
She wants us to
10
read
times
like
harder.
We
the
have like
story of
5
somebody's.
books to read by December.
Yeah.
You're like, we thought this was gonna be better. You tricked us.
For real. They like.
That's why Hogan.
That's why Hogan needs to come back.
You guys complain too much. That's
No,
the
but
moral
now
of the
we're
story.
reaching
Help
a
us
lot.
get Hogan back.
So did
Miss Honey.
Socrates and Aristotle. Look where that got them.
You need to change that lifestyle. Okay, so Khan Academy, www.k, just in K Han Academy. Actually, my dad's first initial is K, so it's like my dad. khanacademy.org, okay? All right, so you can learn anything. Start learning now. Okay, so if you don't sign in, it looks like this. It teaches you math, science, econ, arts, computing, test prep. So math, you can learn algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2. A lot of kids get help from this. But it also has test prep. Okay, this one guy is pretty amazing. He has like 3 degrees from like MIT and Harvard and other places, and he pretty much at the beginning made all these videos himself. Actually, I think most of all these videos are all him. He teaches all these subjects.
He's a boss.
Yeah, he's a boss. So if you go to this website, he gives you an overview of SAT prep. Okay, he talks. I would read through this. He tells you like how to like download the SATs. He gives you tips. Okay. There's a full-length test on here, which is probably one of the ones I am already going to give you. There's math practice, where you watch videos on each different type of problems. He does it by level. Okay, so like the rate of change problem, the water tank problem, the segment length problem, square problem, distance problem. So he gives you all of these and he goes through videos. Anything that's a star, guys, anything that's a triangle obviously means play, right? So it's a vid. But anything that's a star is practice. Okay, so if you're ever bored, you guys could just go on here and do practice with him. So if a number rounded to the nearest 10th is 0.1, which of the following could be the number? Which one could be the number that rounds to 0.1, 10.1? A, B, C, or D?
C.
This one, because you would round this one. If we round to the nearest 10th, you would bump it up because you look next door, 5 or more, you bump it up, so it would be this one. Why not this one?
Because it
That'll be
says
0.2,
It would round to 10.2, right? So then you, well, let's say we thought that, because like, oh, obviously, 10.1 right there. And then, oh no, it shook. That means it was wrong. So then you click on this, check your answer. Okay, good. And if you don't know it, then they give you hints, okay? So, and then you try to get all the stars, and then you get a button or something, okay? And then you could, I don't know. Anyway, all right, so that's Khan Academy.
And he writes so nice with the freaking mouse.
Yeah, he does.
Are you sure that's a mouse? That's probably a pen, huh?
All right. So let's do some practice in section 4 now. Does everybody have access to section 4? Again, if you're watching this from online, you should have this packet, or you could download on Schoology this entire document. Some people, they're watching you. Well, I don't know. A lot of kids said they couldn't come on Friday, but they wanted to take the class in the morning. But then nobody showed up this week.
Yeah, nobody
so
showed up.
we'll see.
I was there by myself.
Well, it's on
Yeah,
Thursday and Fridays.
It's with Miss Williams.
But she'll, in her room, she will like play the video and give you the packets if you want to do that. The only difference is that I'm not there. You're just watching the video, so you can't ask questions. Okay? But you can ask her questions. She'd be happy to help. Okay, so, all right, let's go. All right, so you know what? Since this is the first time, I want us to just go through it together. And this is what I do. Okay, this is my one tip. And I'm sure, like, if you ask Dove or somebody else, they have more tips. Maybe you guys could share with us some tips that he shared. But what I have always done with these questions is I read the I do not look at the answers. Does he tell you to look at the answers first?
No.
Okay.
Discover it.
I hide
And
the
choose
answers
your own.
because it could confuse you and mislead you. Oh, wonderful. Then we're on the same page. And I substitute in there what I think. It's like math. Substitute. Plug in what you think should go there. An easy word that you know. And then you look for the same synonymous words here. Okay? So the thing about this is that would be easy if the sentence was easy, but sometimes the sentence is really hard to understand. Even more so when you have blanks in it. So, but you guys, I have to tell you guys, when I first started preparing for the SATs, because, you know, I also, like, English was my second language. My parents, you know, didn't speak English very well, like, didn't grow up knowing all these SAT words and stuff. And my reading comprehension probably wasn't that strong. And these sentences, and especially these passages, really scared me. I would read the whole thing, and I'm like, I could tell it's all English, but it didn't make any sense. And it was really difficult, you know, and I felt like so intimidated. I felt like, what is this? Who talks like this? Is this like college? You know, I was like freaking out. But I have to say, the more I did it and the more I practiced, it got easier. And I was like, oh, you start to learn how to read. And actually, I think studying for the SATs is actually how I learned how to read. And I applied it a lot in college. So, because actually in my classes in my high school, they didn't, well, maybe some of my IEP classes in my upper years, but I was not exposed to this type of reading, you know, which is why the reading program is so good. It is trying to expose you guys to more of this college level reading, and not just Mickey Mouse or like storytelling, back, you know, like Cat in the Hat kind of books, right? All right, so let's read this together. I'll read I'll read the first few, and then I'll have you guys take turns reading it for us, okay? So number 1 says, and you guys, please have a highlighter out, a pen or pencil out. Feel free, do not be shy about marking it up the wazoo. Like, this test is for you, and on the real day, do not feel like, oh, can we write on here? I don't want to mark it. No, write on it all over the place, okay? So some fans feel that sports events are blank only when the competitors are of equal ability, making the outcome of the game blank. So we don't know the answer. We're not looking at the answers. Now that is confusing. How many of you guys feel confused?
No, I know exactly.
Oh, okay. You guys, the rest of you guys are just not being honest. I feel confused.
I know.
So this is about sports, but what the heck are they saying? Okay, some fans feel that sports events are blank.
Fair
Only when the competitors are of equal ability. What do you think can go in there?
Boring.
First of all, should be a good word or a bad word?
Bad word.
Good. The sports events are good only when the competitors are of equal ability. Because being of equal ability is a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So we could put in something good. I would even put like smiley faces. Okay, Carla said fair. What else is another word that you could fill in there? Something where competitors are of equal ability, then the sports events will be what? Entertaining. It could be entertaining, right? Satisfactory. Something like that, right? And okay, now that we're practicing, we're writing this in, but I want to actually on the real test take the time to write in all those words because that's wasting valuable time. So sometimes maybe just a smiley face is sufficient. Something good, right? Okay, now making the outcome. Oh, but it has to affect the outcome. What does outcome mean? A final score? The result. That's good. Outcome means result, right? Making the result or the outcome of the game what? So basically when the competitors are of equal ability, then the result of the game is going to be what?
Entertaining.
Unpredictable. Anybody's game. Well, the outcome is interesting. Yeah, you could say interesting, but unpredictable, unknown. What should we put here?
Nothing.
First of all, is that a good word or bad word? The outcome of the game should be?
Good. It should be good.
Well, it's kind of difficult. Something's tough, right? So should we put like that?
Yeah.
Okay, making outcome of the game, like we don't know what the outcome of the game is gonna be, right? Okay, now let's look. Successful and assured?
No.
Nah, that doesn't fit, right? It's obvious that doesn't fit. Boring and questionable? That's the opposite, right? We don't want it to be boring. If the competitors of equal ability, the game's not gonna be boring. It's gonna be fun. Making the game dull. Okay, here's another hint. If you have two answer choices that are equivalent, they can't be right because they cannot put two there should only be one right answer, and the test makers would never give you the right answer and then put two right answers, right? So, but the thing is here, this is a possibility because there's two choices, so maybe they're both the same but then one of them are different here. So, but if you have a one-liner and then there's two that are like so similar, like synonymous, then you know that both of them have to be wrong. That's a side tip. Synonymous means synonyms, which means that they mean the same thing. Okay, so C is wrong. Interesting and predictable. What do you guys think about that one?
No.
Why not?
Predictable's wrong.
Okay, so the first one worked, huh? So we want the game to be interesting, but if the game is interesting, is the outcome predictable? No, it's unpredictable. So for that reason, this one doesn't work. It was almost there. It was halfway there. So that leaves us with only E. But does that mean you automatically circle E? Okay, because my lady student, or I don't want to say my lady students, but I have students that are always looking for shortcuts, and we do need shortcuts, but we have to be smart about when we use our shortcuts. There are shortcuts sometimes, but if you're like A, B, C, D is wrong, so it has to be E. I'm not going to read E. I'm going to circle E. No, why is that a bad idea?
Because you might have been wrong with something.
Yeah, maybe you accidentally cross it. Maybe, are you that sure that these are definitely not it? Because what if you realize this is, okay, because what if I look at E and that's also wrong? Then you're like, wait, they can't all be wrong. Then you have to go back. So you have to also check. Okay, let's look. Exciting. We want the game to be exciting. Yeah. But the outcome is uncertain. Yeah. So that's got, I don't even want to check the answer. That's got to be right. But we should always check the answer. Oh, it's snack time. Okay, let's pause and take a snack. Woo! Get a snack? We did one problem. Very good.
Good job, guys.
Okay, quickly. Get it quickly. Get me one.
Watch, everyone's gonna
Just
try to
say
get
one
you
from
and
this
they're
one.
gonna come back with
Watch,
a
no one's gonna come back.
No, they're only going to say it once. No one's going to come back.
Jennifer, she's like, I'm leaving. She keeps repeating this answer.
Who said that?
Jennifer.
I'm like, just ask
Kano?
her. Yeah.
Oh.
You know what? I'm leaving.
I'm like, just ask.
apple juice. Oh wait, what are those? Are pretzels? Those
Yeah.
are goldfish.
But they're pretzels.
I'll have them. Thank you.
Yeah, alright. Where's Gypsy girl?
Although no, it is Kenneth, but well, his American name is Kenneth, but almost nobody in the world calls him that.
That's why I got today.
His name is Kyung. Kyungmo. Kyungmo.
Kyongo? Chongo?
Kyungmo.
Chango?
Chango?
No, he's not Chango. That's rude.
That's what I heard you say.
No, she's recording.
I know it is.
Uh oh. At least they don't know it's me.
That's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
No, I speak like a man on video.
I think.
You
no.
should probably pause it because I don't think the people like wanna like.
I know, but I can't. So, Miss Williams, can you just skip over this part? Thank
Oh.
you.
I think my
We
voice
love
sounds
you,
different.
Miss Williams. I don't have time to edit these videos too. What does that have anything to do with it?
Everything
now
that
that you
has to
open
do
the
with you
bag.
has to do with being Asian this time.
I really wish these were goldfish instead.
Yeah, they're really nasty.
They're
No,
not
they're
nasty.
really
Okay,
good.
they're not nasty, but
Pretzels
they're
are
like
nasty.
compared to the original, it makes me disappointed.
You could say it disappoints me. It's unnecessary to say it makes me disappointed. I'm just helping you with your grammar.
I feel upset.
You can just say I'm upset.
Or when you
I'm
say,
upset.
or when you use being.
I'm mad.
Good.
because
Very good.
Oh,
because
miss, or when you're using being, because Doug said you can't use like, are you being serious? When you can just say, are you serious?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's redundant.
Are you being
redundant?
serious?
How do you like? Wait, what's wrong with it?
You're really redundant.
It's not even-
Well, I guess in Spanish it's okay because you can say, you can say, como or estoy comiendo, and it's equivalent. But in English, like if you say I eat and I eat, okay, that's not a good example at all. Like you don't have to feel, you don't have to be mad. Just what? Sorry, it's hard to explain. I'm gonna stop right here.
I'm being mad.
Wait, I was starting to get it though.
Oh. Well, she said I feel upset. Why did you say that? You say I'm upset.
Yeah, because
And,
you just
and
like
what had I
wasting.
said? What
And
had I
it's-
said before that?
What had I said?
What did I?
What?
What did I say before that?
I don't remember.
I said something about disappointed. I feel disappointed.
You said I. Oh,
Yeah,
it
I
makes.
feel
You said it
disappointed.
makes me disappointed.
Oh yeah, you did.
So what am I supposed to say? I'm disappointed.
Well, what if you're
Yeah.
describing that something makes
No,
you
but it
That's-
makes me. It makes me disappointed. I'm not disappointed, but it makes me disappointed.
Okay,
you
But
because
I'm
you
not-
guys always talk like that. Because you guys are always putting the blame on inanimate objects. You're like, this test confuses me. Then the test is just sitting there. You're getting confused. You know, like.
So would you say I am getting confused by the test?
Yeah, you can say that. You say that I'm confused. Why did you say this test confused me? Like, what the test?
The test is killing me. That's what that's what it's doing.
But you know, or like, oh, this like you guys. I always make fun of you guys. You're like, it's like, oh, this paper jumped off the floor and like hit me. Like, no, you threw it. That's what happened. You know, like.
Yeah.
That's what our literature teachers show us.
Everyone says great writers use imagery and figurative language.
I know, but that's not how they're trying
Like
to
when
use
they're
it.
like, why'd you sock her out? Like, no, she just ran into my fist.
That's basically how you guys talk.
That's why. That's how it is. That's how it be in this world.
Is what I.
Should we go on?
It is what I want it is.
I'll go a little faster. That was the first one, so we took forever on it.
You don't have a hair.
Miss, you want this?
Really?
I got another.
Thank you. Cumbia!
What did you say?
She's like, cumbia.
Did you say cumbia?
Yeah, I don't know why. It just popped into my head. I was just sitting there and it just popped in.
We should listen to some.
I bet.
Like in cooking
Huh?
class. We should listen to some. Cumbia.
No, she's singing a nice song.
Oh, you heard me? Jesse gets mad when I sing.
Why?
What? I get
my
mad when
bad,
she
my
doesn't
bad.
sing.
It wasn't Jesse. It was Abraham. He's like,
Oh.
Abraham. Jesse gets mad that I.
Okay, let's start. I didn't even go to the bathroom, you guys.
Me too.
I've been holding it since 5th period.
You should
I
go.
haven't gone since
That's it.
What?
That's what other people
Where is
do.
it?
What if I sit here for the rest of class?
What?
What if I sit
That's
here?
what it seems like.
With Abraham?
Yeah.
But there's a table right there, remember?
That's the way.
Oh, for this class.
If
That's
Alexis
fine.
was there in the class, she would like,
Wouldn't this like?
she would make fun of me. all the
Wouldn't I
time.
disturb you?
Alright, you guys, let's go, because we have a lot to do. Alright. So, we're back from the break. Alright, so let's try the next one. Okay. Alfred Shintucky. Schnicky. Alfred Schnicky's musical compositions are something. What's that?
An ellipse.
An ellipse?
Colon?
A colon,
It's a
yeah.
colon. What does the colon
I thought
mean?
you were pointing at the dots.
It lists things.
Yeah.
Not a happy face. It lists things, okay? It's kind of like an equal sign sometimes, and it's like a hyphen sometimes. The musical compositions are something. So this is supposed to be an explanation or justification of what he said here.
Yeah.
Phrases are clipped, broken into sections, and split apart by long rests. Okay, so something that's clipped, and I highlight things up the wazoo. Clipped, broken, and split apart. What does all of that sound like? Disjointed, short, cut. Let's just say cut up. Okay, separated. Okay, separated. Okay. So let's look for a word that's like that. Okay, which word here sounds like that?
Fragmented.
Do you guys know what fragmented means?
Yes.
Well, you know what fragment is. A fragment is a piece, right? So does everybody feel good about this?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. We're on our way to a 2400. Wow, so far perfect score. All right. No questions about this? Okay. The consumer advocate claimed. Okay, who can read this for us?
Me. Okay,
Okay,
the
Jennifer.
consumer advocate claimed that while drug manufacturers blink the supposed advantage of their
Proprietary.
What does that even mean? Proprietary brands, generic versions of the same medications are often something.
Okay, now see, can be biased towards a person who's never used drugs or medications and they don't know what this means, right? But that's why we just need to be exposed to the world. Okay, do you guys know about there's 2 different types of medications?
No.
Okay, who can tell us?
Prescribed and not prescribed.
Sure. They
Over
sh-
the counter and then.
okay, that's true. But when you have a prescribed medication,
Under the counter.
Prescribed, there's the store, there's the brand one, and the generic one, which is made by like the.
okay, maybe you guys don't know. There's generic versions of a medication, and then there's brand names.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
I
for
get
example,
it.
Tylenol is a specific company, okay? But Tylenol sells acetaminophen. That's the generic name of the drug. And Tylenol, so the way the American, Drug Administration works, when a pharmaceutical company comes up with a drug, they have like the patent, right, on the drug for 7 years, is it? But after 7 years, because what if we we come up with this awesome medicine that's gonna save all these people's lives, and that's the company discovered it, they're the only people that can sell it, and people need it, then they could charge $1 million for like a Tylenol, and they're the only people that sell Tylenol, so we couldn't do anything about it, right? So in order to prevent that from happening, they said, well, you could have the rights on it for 7 years, but after 7 years, anybody could sell it, but under a generic name. So now you could buy the Target brand of Tylenol. You could buy the CVS brand of Tylenol. Those are generic, okay? It's not Tylenol, it's a CVS brand of acetaminophen, you know? Same thing with Advil. Advil is the brand name, the original brand name, but you could also buy, it's like it's just ibuprofen is the generic name. Exactly. It does the same thing, but it's not the brand name, so people still want the brand name sometimes, but actually doctors say it's the same thing. So buy the cheaper one.
So we have to wait 7 years.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, but the thing is, on the SATs, if you didn't know that, then you would have to figure it out here. Okay, let's decipher this sentence.
Alright.
The consumer advocate. Now here's what's confusing. This could be a verb or a noun. You can
Not that I know what it means.
advocate something, or you can be an advocate. You could be a person who advocates, which is an advocate. So how do we know what this is talking about? The next word is claim. That's a verb. So this is a noun. The consumer advocate, that's a person, claimed. Wait, who's he advocating for? Consumers. What are consumers? The buyers, people like us who go to the market. So they're helping the people. The consumer advocate claimed that while drug manufacturers blank the supposed advantages of the proprietary brands, generic versions of the same medications are often equally
Effective.
blank. Yeah, what do you guys think? What should go in the last blank?
Effective.
They're equally effective. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But drug manufacturers do what? Or blank the supposed advantages, huh? Say or claim or, boast, right? Do you guys kind of agree that that should go in there? So now let's read it again. Okay, just to make sure we have, because sometimes you might accidentally get the wrong idea, so just read it again with your sentence. The consumer advocate claimed that while the drug manufacturers claim that the supposed, this word is supposed to key you in. Supposed is kind of like, we're kind of doubting what you're supposedly saying, right? So even though some manufacturers claim that your supposed advantages, or claim or boast of generic versions of the same medication are often equally effective. All right, makes sense. So we feel good about it? Yeah. All right. What is tout or toot? What is toot?
It's like toot toot, like a
toot toot. Okay, so what does that sound like? Do you think it could be like claiming and boasting?
No, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Doesn't that sound like a boast?
Yeah.
Toot toot.
Like,
Have you heard of? Yes. Have you heard of tooting your horn, tooting your own horn?
Never.
Toot toot. It's an onomatopoeia actually. To toot your own horn is like, not like, it's showing off. You're tooting your own horn. Okay? Efficacious. What do you think that means?
Effective.
Efficient, effective. Yeah? Doesn't that kind of go with what we want? So this is a very good candidate. But just to make, and that seems to fit really well. No. What if there's something better? Because you know what? Mira.
It says the best fit. Meaning.
So if there's one that's better, then our answer will be wrong. So let's just make sure everybody else is worse. Okay? Do they research the supposed advantages, but the medications are innocuous?
No.
No, we want it to be.
Innocuous sounds like something bad.
No.
Remember, Dove said not to do anything sounds wrong.
Oh, he said not to?
No, he said if you don't know a word,
He said if you don't know, it's not about if it
only
sounds
cross
bad
out
or-
what you really know.
Okay. All right.
Doesn't in mean like not? Like,
Yeah, so innocuous is actually good. Yeah, I see why he said that, because sometimes you guys do the opposite. Like, you guys assume the opposite. Yeah, so innocuous means like, he looks like a snake, but he's actually quite innocuous. Or like, like that dog, it looks like it has rabies, but he's actually quite innocuous. Like, harmless. Okay? So, but do we want drugs to be equally harmless? No, we're not worried about that, right? Market, so that could be, right? The companies market their product, but do we want the drugs to be equally prohibitive?
No.
What does prohibitive mean? Preventing, restricting, yeah, so that's not good. Laud, what does laud mean?
To applaud or claim.
What does applaud mean?
Give praise, yeah.
So laud means to praise, okay? And applause means to really praise, okay? So that can work, huh? That can work. I'm gonna check it. I always use check boxes. These all work, Oh, that's what I used to do, you guys. I used to go like this, one at a time. It's been so long. Okay, because I know that I want the first word to be something where you like are proud or you're claiming or you're boasting. So I look, okay, toot works, research works, market works, laud works, extract, could that work?
Maybe.
Not
not
really.
Like
Not
a little corner of the test and then use that as like a little flashcard to cut it.
sure. Just use your hand, okay, or your calculator. Oh no, you can't use your calculator on this session. Okay, so this is probably not, huh? So that way, you know why I do this? Because even if I'm so tempted because this word fits, this is what happens. Let's say you put the word effective right here, and this word is effective, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's the same word I was thinking. I love this answer, and you want to circle it so bad, even though the other word is totally wrong. You see? But it fits, and so you're like so tempted. No. That's why I look at it separate. Okay.
miss.
So effective, efficacious, good. Innocuous, nah. Prohibitive, nah. Counterproductive, nah. Prescriptive, nah. Yeah, you're right. We had already crossed it out. So, yeah, A is the one. All right, perfect score so far. All right, why don't you guys try this one on your own with your partners, and then let's talk about it.
What number? Latoya? That's so racist.
Okay, don't just get distracted. That's 30 seconds you just wasted laughing about the racism of that name.
Oh, this is gonna be a hard test. I'm gonna be distracted so easily.
Why don't you share with her?
I wanted to send you
You should practice.
Probably should.
honest.
But you know. Yeah, you know.
No, Jesse, you can't do that. You already failed.
Why don't you guys keep going then? Why don't you guys keep going? Complacent? Doesn't sound good at all. We don't placid. Oh, good, right? Complacent. No, we don't. You're right, you're right. You shouldn't do that because you could be wrong. Complacent means that she's just satisfied easily.
Jesse, you can
Too easily satisfied. You know, like even though I was failing, I was just complacent about it. You know?
Really true.
Okay, well now that we can. No, I don't think it's generous. Well, too late. Dude, that's pretty good.
You know what? Do 4, 5, and 6 at least, okay? 4, 5, and 6.
So critical. I think it's E. I think it's E. Because to be self-centered, she's not self-centered. Restrictive, she's obviously not. Self-destructive, obviously not. But she's being self-critical because everyone else is trying to like critique her. Do you know what complex? No, that's why I think it's better to just go and introduce them.
Oh, I think I just used somebody's spoon. Was that yours?
That was my man.
No, it's not.
Marriage is like putting down.
Wait, Miss Hahn, can we circle to answer?
Do number 4. What do you think number 4 is?
No. Yes. No, showing smug or uncritical. That's actually bad.
Oh, never mind. I thought I heard it wrong.
Oh, Jesse. You look at the answer.
Did that thing finally you sign something reading McDonald's post? My neighborhood there in Spanish, right?
Oh my gosh, if Abraham were here, that's the one word he learned, abstemious, this summer. Is that your final answer?
That's like the same.
That kind of sounds like, canon, like,
A cannibal. Did you know that? William just told me that. In Spanish.
When they're born into the womb, like once they like actually like they're married.
Create something or give
In the womb? Wait, so it's eating each other in the womb?
But see, right now you guys are taking like 5 minutes per question, but remember, on the SAT you have to take about 30 to 45 seconds on each question. We'll get there, but just keep that in mind. Station. What is Satya or Statia? Basic factor and also yeah, exactly. It works a lot of times, but sometimes it can be completely wrong. That's the problem. Yes, exactly. Satiable means able to satisfy. Satisfiable.
No, you didn't. What?
Insatiable means not able to satisfy.
This word.
Economy of expression. That sounds like the same expression.
Dude, I'm like, I'm gonna do so, but I'm probably be like there's some like.
How would that sound?
No. Like a legend is like someone who's an important idol. I know that. Okay, now. Nice. That sounds like a dinosaur. It's a nice revival. But then that means like
Instead of like just giving you a word, it's like
What's the next paragraph?
no, yeah, it does that, but it's no, it ranks all the words in terms of how they define.
That's really
So
good.
you learn all the words like this,
Yes,
like so if you can
you
remember
link
one.
them. That's very good. We should do that. Maybe we'll get that.
No, it's like this big, but it has like all the words like linked together like that.
I like that a lot.
I'm gonna go with this.
You know that?
Alright, Miss, wanna check our answers?
Should we go over it together a little bit?
Wait, where were we supposed to start?
At 6.
The only reason I know is
Okay, so okay, y'all, let's talk about this. And you guys tell me, okay, what you put in there. So Latoya's blank is shown by her ability to be blank. Now, that is defined by the fact that she can see her own faults more clearly than anybody else can. So that means she's doing what?
Self-criticism.
She's being reflective, okay? So, Latoya's what is shown by that? Okay, so you know what I would do? These two words have to be opposites or similar, or the similar or opposites, you think? They have to be similar, right? They have to be almost the same. Latoya's something is shown by her ability to do something. So these are very similar, right? So I would first think whatever words are down there, they better be like pretty similar. It shouldn't be like one hot and one cold, or one red and one black, you know? It should be like on the same page, right? Okay, so what do you guys think about A? Her perceptiveness is shown by her ability to be self-centered.
No, she's definitely
No,
not
because
self-centered.
perceptive is good, but self-centered, bad. Objectivity, could be. Restrictive, no, that's irrelevant. Cynicism, could be. These are both bad kind of words, and that matches, but her cynicism is shown by her ability to be self-destructive. No, okay. Open-minded, yeah. And then complacent, a lot of us didn't know, so that's a possibility, huh? Okay, insightfulness, yeah. That means like you have insight, right? You're wise. Self-critical, yeah. Okay, so basically now we're down to 2, and we have to choose the one. Okay, so here's the thing.
Placement, like when you place
It's just yeah, complacent.
when you restrict
Okay, so what ideas do you have about complacent?
restricted.
Complacent sounds like complacer.
Complacer, ¿qué es complacer?
Satisfied.
To please. Okay, so complacent, do you think that means pleasing or?
It could be related.
Yeah, but in what way though? Pleasing to others? Complaciente? Okay, so what do you guys think? Okay, let's see how well it fits, because sometimes it fits but it's not like a good fit. So let's see how well that shoe fits. So her open-mindedness is shown by her ability to be complacent. So it seems like if somebody's open-minded, they should be easy to please, or wait, what is it? They're trying to please, eager to please. We think that might be what it means. Okay, but does that mean that she should be able to see her own faults more clearly than anybody else? Does that make you open-minded and eager to please? Not necessarily. So even though they kind of fit, not the best. But think about this, her being insightful, is that shown by her ability to be self-critical? Which means she sees her faults better than anyone else? Yeah, that fits real well. So this is probably the right one. And so at the end of the day, if you have 2, it's a 50-50, go with the one that's 60. If it's 60-40, go with the 60. So it turns out that I actually agree with Dove now. I see why he says don't guess if you don't know, because complacent, what does it mean, Jesse? You looked it up?
Showing smug or uncritical satisfaction with oneself or one's achievement.
Okay, say it in English now.
Self-satisfied, smug.
Self-satisfied, smug. Conceited. So he had a D in the class, but he was so complacent about it.
That's
I'm like, what else? You know, like, it's fine. I'm satisfied, you know? Like, YOLO, you know? Right? Complacent is just like you're satisfied, but when you shouldn't be satisfied. Okay? Complacent. So that would have thrown us off if we thought that was, you know, something else. By the way, very good practice as you're studying for doing SAT practice like this. When you come across words you don't know, write them down. This is a good opportunity to go to that list. Is complacent on that list? Let's check. Is it? No? Okay. If you want, you can write it, add it to your list, or you can at least write the definition, highlight it, or I used to have a little book. Honestly, I used to have a little book, but now you guys have phones, you can put it in your phone. I used to have a little book of what I put SAT words that I came across that I didn't know. And then they would often come up a lot. Any other words so far that you didn't know that you want a definition for? Cynicism. Do you know what it means to be cynical?
Oh,
Yeah, like
crazy.
Not crazy.
It's
What?
when you look at
Evil.
he's pretty
It is something bad. A cynic.
Someone who doesn't take someone point and they look at it in the bad way.
Yes. Say it again, William.
Someone who doesn't take an accepted view and they look at it in the bad way.
Yeah, if you're cynical about something, I'm like, oh, we should all say the Pledge of Allegiance because, you know, it's pledging allegiance to our country is a good thing. And a cynic would be like, heh, I hate this country anyway. Then what good does this country do for me? You know, and I mean, you know, it's being critical, which is a good thing, but it's kind of to the like, maybe to the extreme, you know. But a cynic is not always a bad thing, but it's technically somebody who but it definitely is somebody who has a negative view about something, right? Cynicism. And cynicism is the act of that. Actually, let's look up a definition because I don't want to give you my convoluted. Right here. An inclination to believe that people are motivated oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I gave you a bad definition. An inclination to believe that people are motivated purely by self-interest and skepticism. Okay, so skepticism, yes. What does skepticism mean? Skeptical or skeptics or is doubt, okay? So doubt. So it's being doubtful, but basically you're being doubtful that people are good. Your basic belief is that most people are out for themselves only. So that's cynicism. Public cynicism about politics. But then here it's okay. So I guess what I said wasn't all that bad. An inclination to question whether something will happen or whether it's worthwhile. Pessimism. Okay, so you're just like a lot of things. You just kind of doubt it. You put it down. You're like, what's the point? It's not gonna help anyway. Cynical. What's the point of going to college? Everybody's telling me to go to college, but I'm very cynical about the idea of college because I don't think it's going to help me in the end. That's a cynical view of college. Okay. The bearded dragon lizard is a voracious eater, so that will consume so blank that it will consume as many insects as possible.
I put vicious.
Okay, well, it all has to do with what is voracious.
Oh.
Very
aggressive.
okay, not quite. No.
Not satisfactory.
Voracious.
Not satisfactory.
Yeah, like
Say. Okay, voracious means to eat or consume in large quantities. So this is a word you must know. I'm sure it's on. Can you look? Is it on the list? Voracious. Oh, you guys add it. It comes up so much. Voracious reader. A voracious reader is somebody who reads a lot. Okay? A voracious eater. Okay? Somebody who eats or consumes a lot. Jesse, look it up. What is it technically? Why are you guys looking up stuff? Come on. Other stuff, I mean. Voracious.
yeah. You
were like, Jesse!
Wait, wanting or devouring great quantities of food.
Oh, no es lo que dije? Okay, wanting or devouring great quantities of food or having a very eager approach to an activity. So a voracious reading of literature, right? So it's not just food. He voraciously consumed everything that his math teacher taught him. Okay? Hey, look, synonyms. Insatiable. Doesn't that come up later on this page?
Yeah.
Unquenchable, unappeasable, prodigious, uncontrollable. Okay, that's okay. All right. So, but you know what, you guys? What do we do if we don't know what that word means?
skip it.
Okay, so we skipped it. If we don't know what it means, we have to use the context. It's a bearded dragon lizard, you guys. It's a lizard. Okay, and it's a something kind of eater. It's a certain kind of eater. So blank that it will consume as okay. You know what, y'all? I just realized you don't even need to know what voracious means in this sentence. You don't, because
Give you the definition.
it told you. Voracious means that it's so something that it will consume as many insects as possible. So voracious obviously means that you eat a lot, as much as possible. So what else? So basically this word has to equal that word. I always use math in everything I do. Those words have to be equal, right? Which means this, right? So which one?
Not cannibalistic. Not
Okay, do you think it means cannibalistic?
No, because it's not eating itself.
You know why that's there? That's called a distractor answer. Because we're talking about eating, and they're like, cannibal, doesn't that have to do with eating? But what does it really mean?
Eating their own
Eating
kind.
their own kind. Oh, but lizards and insects are different, right? But that is called a distractor. That's purposely there, it's a sucker answer. Okay, so be aware of when it. Sometimes when you get too happy to see an answer, it might be because it's really the right answer, or it might be because you fell for it. Okay, so just be careful. Be skeptical, a little cynical about it. Okay, so slovenly. Do you think that means eating a lot really fast? Nah. Sounds slow, yeah. And I know Dove said not to do that, but unpalatable. What is palate?
Like a plate,
Like your appetite or your taste, senses, whatever. But unpalatable means like not tasty, unpleasant to eat. Okay, now we're down to 2 again. Abstemious or insatiable? What does satiate mean? Satisfy. So insatiable means not able to satisfy because you're so hungry. You're insatiable. Merlin and Mario, their mom was having such a hard time feeding her the insatiable appetite of her 2 growing boys. Insatiable. Okay, abstemious. What do you guys think abstemious is, by the way? Not. It's the opposite. Okay, not self-indulgent. You're like not splurging. You're the opposite of being a glutton. Okay, right? Is that what it is? Okay. What? A hair shirt. Maybe your shirt is just your hair on your back. I don't know. Just kidding. I don't know.
Wow.
Okay. Basic drummer Tony Williams paved the way for later jazz fusion musicians. He considered a
Legend, idol, philosopher,
something.
of the era of
Okay. So something good. Something good. Yeah. Okay. But the thing is, a lot of these look good, except which one?
Revivalist.
Revival is a good thing.
No, but it's leading to it, not doing again.
What is it? What does it mean to Huh? Who?
For the football.
Football. Oh, fan bus.
Yeah.
What time do they leave? 5:30.
I
No?
think so, yeah.
We're gonna end at 5:30.
Alright, for sure, keep going.
Okay. Disparager. What does disparage mean?
Put down.
Put down. What a disparaging comment that was. Okay, so that's a bad thing. Everything else is pretty good though. Okay. So then we have to get more specific. The good thing doesn't help us. Drummer. Why is he good? He paved the way for other people. So he did something. Okay, so revival means
to redo.
Attention, Bright Star Scholars. This is your D, Mr. Alvarez,
You look fucking in
reminding everybody that we have a fan bus leaving at 5:30. Everybody that's riding the fan bus, make sure you guys are hanging out here in front of Mrs. Bonilla's class. Mrs. Bonilla's office, I'm sorry. Everybody that's gonna board the fan bus, make sure you guys are in close proximity to Mrs. Bonilla's office. We are only gonna give 2 cars, guys. Make sure you guys are close by.
all right.
For everybody else that are finishing up the bodybuilding program,
This is the story of my
make sure
life.
you guys are using the restroom. Make sure you guys are washing up, and you guys are ready
You
to
make me feel
roll.
special, like on this. Say something.
He's not even done. He's not even done.
Say one more thing.
Lunch has come to a conclusion. Take care of this food.
Clean yourself up. Wash your hands. Don't be dirty. Okay.
Restroom,
All right.
make sure you wipe,
Okay.
wash your hands with soap and water.
Don't forget
Don't
paper
forget to-
towels.
Don't forget to turn off the sink because if you let the water run, we
Okay. Hey, let's finish this up. Okay. Okay. So wait. What if you don't know what connoisseur means? Do you guys know what it means? An expert. Like I could be a coffee connoisseur. Well, no, Mr. Polgarin is a coffee connoisseur.
No, Mr.
Connoisseur.
Engel.
Okay, Mr. Engel. A connoisseur is an expert. Okay, look at mira. A connoisseur of chocolate, for example, would know. Like they'll taste it like, ooh, this is chocolate from Costa Rica. Oh no, this is
Or like wine
Swiss
tester,
chocolate.
like
You know?
80% cacao. Wait.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
But a regular person, they're like,
Oh my
it's,
God,
I don't know, it's just chocolate, right?
That's true.
So they know to
Cacao.
find distinctions because they're
Coca-Cola.
experts. Now that's a good thing, but does that mean that he basically paved the way for other people? No, it just means you're an expert. Okay, beneficiary is also a good thing, but does a beneficiary, okay, now yes, it's an heir. You benefit from other people, an heir. Like I'm a beneficiary of my parents or whatever, right? But does a beneficiary receive things or give things? Receives, but does Tony Williams receive them or give? He gives. He paved the way. So this is the opposite. Okay, by the way, this I think is a distractor answer because it sounds fancy, and you know we know he's supposed to be something fancy, you know. But
Yeah,
what's
I thought it was a dinosaur.
dinosaur?
It sounds like
Okay,
a dinosaur.
dinosaurs end in this. Okay.
Or yeah.
Okay. All right. Progenitor. What about that makes you think it should be somebody who paves the way for other things?
It's a legend.
Pro.
Bro.
Genesis. What does Genesis mean?
The beginning.
The beginning. Generate. What does generate mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
To
generator.
create.
I thought, like,
Okay. So progenitor is like a creator, right?
Wait, how do you say
Or
it?
forefather. Progenitor.
Progenitor.
So the answer is E. Yeah.
Could also sound like genitals.
It can. Then we're gonna delete that from the video.
Wow.
Okay. So
Why?
if you guys have to go, go ahead and go.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Wait. Before we close, let's make some decisions here. I would like you guys to practice what we did today. Do you think you guys have the time to do the sentence completion for section 7? It's just a few, right? Oh shoot, it's so little. Do 7 and no, there's gotta be more. You wanna do math? No, we should practice. Do 7 and 8. Just these problems on section 7 and section 8. They also have fill in the blanks. And then study your SAT vocabulary words. Okay? Those 7 vocabulary words. Alright guys. Yes.
Richard.